to say, let's create an environment for more international commerce in a positive way. It's a win for everyone, I hope. It would be actually as those funds get expended. So that is one of the issues, Amy, in terms of the timing of those, the availability of those funds. And we're cognizant of that, and we're looking at that. Yeah, George.
You mentioned last week a different kind of take on China. And I'm wondering if you are thinking at all about China as part of your economic gardening strategy, where you might possibly be looking to China to be investors in our second-tier companies that are already on the ground.
Well, the questions about China, my view is we should be open to having investment from anywhere in the world. I mean, in terms of working well with people and creating commerce, and one, from the export side, what can we do in Michigan that we can sell to other places? And then secondly, who can invest in our state and build enterprises that are successful in creating jobs? So I think China's somehow, in the public perception, it created a big wall if you look at the last campaign, and we need to break that down and say, let's do business with people around the world. And I look forward to the opportunity to, at some point, travel to China as long as there's appropriate business opportunity there. I don't get on a plane unless there's some real value for money. But if we find the right value for money situation, I'm going to do what we need to help build our state up. Yes?
Follow-up to my earlier question on the MEDC. I know that you were in the process of starting some sort of urban initiatives office. Where does that stand now? Has it been launched yet?
No, it hasn't been launched yet. It's close to being launched. We're actually partnering with some of our foundation community to do that. And so we're just working through the final pieces of that. And hopefully that'll be done by the end of this month, and then we'll be working on getting it staffed up and going. And I'm excited about it because I think it's an opportunity to have more activity, to be more involved in our urban areas, and do more coordination between our urban centers by having that resource there compared to simply having a Detroit office. Well, when people talk about tax credits, if you look at the tax credit system we have at the state level, because again, this doesn't affect any incentives local jurisdictions want to offer. That's their choice. But with respect to the state level, a lot of the incentives we put in place were to deal with a broken tax system. You had the Michigan business tax, which was an atrocious tax. I mean, it is one of the worst taxes ever created. It had over 30 credits. So my view is if you go into this very simple 6% corporate net income tax, where regular corporations are only paying 6% in a very simple fashion, most of our business entities are paying no separate business income tax. It's flowing to their individual returns where they're paying a fair rate on the personal income tax return. What's the point of having all these credits? We've got one of the most competitive environments in the country then. And the nice part of the way we're structuring this, it's going to be on sales factor apportionment. So it's a case if you're a Michigan organization, whether you're a corporation or not, you add jobs, you add entities, you put assets in the state of Michigan, simply by those actions, you pay no additional tax. You're not paying anything. You're only paying for what you sell in your state. That's a good answer. So what's the point of needing all these special incentives when you got one of the most competitive level playing fields you can have when you let free enterprise work, whether it be large or small organizations? It's a great environment. And that's the goal. And I believe you're going to see people from all over the country to say this is a role model for what should be happening across the country. And getting away from living in the past with all these exceptions, all these special rules, all these things that most people can't understand versus saying, hey, you're simple, fair, and efficient. I like life that way. I think most of us do.
Now, for those businesses that are not C corporations, would you favor some kind of franchise fee or registration fee or something, or would it strictly be just based on their personal income?
It's just going to flow to the personal income tax, Paul, because if you think about it, they shouldn't pay a double level tax. I mean, it's the same rate that other people should pay, and that's as simple, fair, and efficient as you get. And that encourages job growth. So it's a great environment.
One last question.
I think one of the nice things, again, about doing the 2-year format, and I think people see that, is I think there's some opportunity to say there is some stability coming to our system in terms of saying this is where we're at. And the other part I like is the opportunity then to have an opportunity to go manage. To actually say, I believe there's a lot of efficiencies, a lot of better things we can do by having some time to get in and have our team actually, with those great hardworking employees, manage government more efficiently. Create it so we get the bureaucracy out of the way, so frontline people are empowered, and we can have customer-centered government. That will add more efficiencies and better service. And that's something exciting that is not going to show up every day in the headlines, but that's just good hard work over the next year or so. And then we have a full agenda, as many of you know. We've got 2 more special messages coming. So we're living the dog years concept here pretty well, I believe. Now we've got a special message on government reform in March, and we're going to have a special message on education in April. So we're working at a very quick pace because there is a need here. We are in a crisis, but this is a crisis of urgency, not of panic. And we're going to make things happen. I'm excited.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you are invited to listen to the full speech at noon.